Welcome to the Live Full, Work Fun podcast. This is the show to encourage you to live your life to the fullest and do fun work that fuels your lifestyle. Hi, I'm your host, Robert Scrivener. Every week, you'll be introduced to amazing guests, useful resources, and inspirational stories. You'll discover opportunities and perspectives to shape your version of living full and working fun. Hi there, and welcome to the show. If this is your first time, I am so glad that you're joining. Thanks for checking out the show. And if you're returning, well, welcome back. It's always great to have you here. Are you a part of the Live Full, Work Fun community yet? If not, just be sure to hop over to Facebook and join the Live Full, Work Fun Facebook group. And if you're already a part of the Facebook group, I encourage you to pop over there and introduce yourself and to make some comments on your biggest takeaways from those you meet on these episodes. But today's episode is kind of a big deal for two reasons, and I wanted to celebrate with you. And I brought on a special guest. You've heard him on the show before, and he's back, but I see that he's kind of distracted by some social media action over there.
Oh, yes, I am.
Welcome, Robert.
No, thank you.
Today is kind of a big deal for two reasons. First, it's the 200th episode of this podcast.
What?
I know. Can you believe it that this show started in September of 2017?
No, that's been a while.
I looked it up. It was 2017.
200 episodes.
And we're at 200 episodes. Indeed, the show has evolved over the years.
Definitely has.
It has, and it started out with one name. Then it went to the Robert Scrivener Show for the longest time. And it was just at the beginning of this year when we rebranded. I was able to distill what has been our philosophy for, a long time into 4 simple words: live full and work fun.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So I'm kind of excited about that. But not only that, the day that this episode publishes
Is?
What day would that be?
Let's see. I believe it's March 2nd.
March 2nd. And that's a big deal. Why, Robert? Why is it a big deal?
That's a loaded question. This is, I know this answer. It's our anniversary.
It is.
Our wedding anniversary.
Our wedding anniversary.
Not just a podcast anniversary.
Are we sharing how many years we've been married?
Not long enough.
Oh.
That's the correct answer.
Good answer. Good answer. Well, we have been married for a few years now.
Well, it's over 10.
Yes. And it's been wonderful.
Yes, it has.
So far, so good.
Are you questioning that?
No, we have code. If you don't want to be married
There's code.
anymore, we have.
There's a strict code.
There's a dress code that you come home wearing certain outfit. Then I know, hey,
He's done.
he's done. Just give me those papers and I'll sign. But I don't see that happening anytime soon.
No.
Usually we're recording this a little bit before our wedding anniversary, and we end up talking about our anniversary a few days before, and then it comes.
And sometimes we forget it.
And then we forget, like, on the day.
Like, both of us forget. Not just me or you, but both.
You're actually better at dates than I am.
Yeah, I am.
You remind me when...
Although we never dated.
That is true.
Different kind of date.
Okay. I'm glad that you're joining me today for this very special show. I thought it would be great to share a few things from our perspective of what it means for us to live full and work fun. So, what's your definition of living full?
Oh, my. Put me on the spot. I'm here thinking.
Oh, my. I prompted you before the recording.
Yeah, but did I really think about it? Nah, she's not going to ask those questions. What's my definition?
Of living full.
Being able to do things that I want to do whenever I want to do them. That's to live full.
Mm-hmm.
Work fun is something that doesn't suck. The daylights out of you. Sucks the daylights out of you.
Well, and that's interesting. There's been times that you've had taken on jobs
Man, this sucks.
This sucks. And it was
Why am I doing this?
For a short amount of time.
You say, suck it up, Buttercup.
It's just for a short
It's just for a short amount of time. Okay.
Well, you have found over the years that you do have an aptitude, for example, you're mechanically inclined.
Yeah, somewhat, to a point.
But you're not going to work on anybody else's car.
I prefer not to.
No, that ship has sailed.
Mm-hmm.
That was you in a younger life. That
was the former me.
That was the former you. Yeah, I have to agree that I was in a career for 20 years that, although in it, I felt good about my accomplishments, but after a while, it just felt really restrictive, and I hated to ask off for work. I hated that we only had, if you and I wanted to go on a trip, it was a hurry up and
get there, do it, turn around, come back.
Gosh, what were the crazy things that we did? We went down from Missouri. We went to like Carlsbad Caverns.
Yep.
Where is that?
That is southeastern New Mexico, and then we went to El Paso.
Same trip, right?
That same trip, and came back through Lubbock to see the larger-than-life Buddy Holly statue.
Yeah, larger than life. 2 inches taller than you.
Yeah, it wasn't that tall. And then that was a 3-day weekend.
A 3-day weekend, and it was a blur. I'm glad we did it.
Another one would have been down to New Orleans and back.
That's right.
By way of Pensacola, too.
That was the first time you saw
Nashville.
the ocean, wasn't it?
That is correct. That's a 3-day weekend.
Yeah.
From Southwest Missouri.
So we were just blazing those trails. It was
non-stop driving.
You know, on this show, I mean, this year really is a big deal because this marks our 10th year of being in business for Scrivener Solutions.
Yep.
You just saw on Facebook that we just got on Facebook 9 years ago.
That is correct.
Can you believe it's been that long?
It's a blur.
It is a blur.
It's a blur.
But I think since leaving my old corporate life, although getting started with the business, there have been some bumpy moments. I feel like we live a fuller life because we get to go to places and see things on our own terms, at our own pace, without having to hurry up and punch a clock somewhere in a corporate office.
We only got 2 weeks to do it, and that's it.
And then
back to the grindstone for
year.
Yeah. Until you get your next paid vacation.
I like that we can change our front door anytime we want to and stay at a place if we want to for a period of time.
Yeah, that's nice.
Yeah. So our definition of living full involves a lot of travel. Having some adventures.
Slow travel.
Yeah.
Not fast travel.
Something that I had learned along the way when we first moved out of our place down in Florida and we moved into our RV. That huge garage sale or yard sale that we had and sold everything and moved into that RV. And our first trip from Florida to Colorado. And I thought we had to be there at a certain time. And it was kind of stressful on me because I had still had corporate think, I believe. And that was the trip that I discovered that slowing way down makes you even more productive. And we've slowed down. That was the trip that we slowed down.
It's kind of backwards thinking.
Mm-hmm.
But yes.
I think that it helped me enjoy life a lot better and think things through a lot better and not feel as, over time, I haven't felt as stressed and as hurried that we had to travel fast and get to a place quickly. Slow down and you'll enjoy the trip a lot better.
Smell the coffee.
I smelled a lot of coffee.
Smell the roses. See the roses. Don't just see them in a blur.
Exactly. What has been your favorite adventure that we've been on so far?
Ooh, there's a lot of them. But we may have not got there yet. There's a lot of good ones, but I like Montana.
Yeah, what did we do in Montana?
Wyoming and Montana, camping in the Shoshone National Forest, getting up 3 o'clock in the morning, go out, take pictures of the stars.
That was neat.
Yeah. No cell phone service.
No.
In a tent on the ground. Yeah, that was nice.
That was peaceful.
And then we went up into Montana, Idaho, and this was all car camping stuff. This was no RV, no really off-road stuff except in a car. Yeah, so that was one of my favorites. Actually, just recently was the Flaming Gorge National Recreation Area.
That was
neat.
neat.
In Utah, Wyoming. That's the ones that stick out.
I really enjoyed Natchez
Trace
trip.
Yeah, that was a good one.
And how we camped
it was
along
slow.
the side of the road there, and there were
It was not on the side of the road.
No.
It was in a park.
It was in campgrounds and different places. But didn't we find some places in the Smoky Mountains just right off the
That was
road?
the Blue Ridge Parkway.
Oh, I like that one.
Natchez Trace in, Middle Tennessee.
That's true. The Blue
Ridge
Ridge
Parkway. Yep, that had just off the side of the road.
And kind of down in some,
Yep.
I guess you call them forest roads.
Forest roads, more remote areas.
I liked
drinking water from Kathy's Creek. That was some of the best water out of a creek.
Yes, but you did filter it.
Yes, I did filter it, but it was still pretty tasty water.
And having the adventures.
And that's one that stuck in my head. It was good. So you remember the good stuff, but you remember the bad stuff longer or more better.
More better.
More vividly, I guess.
There have been a lot of awesome things that we have seen so far, but I think I agree with you. I don't know if I have a favorite yet.
There's several good ones.
There are so many.
But as a
favorite,
favorite, no, I don't know if we've got there yet.
There are some fun times. So, speaking of which, what challenging circumstances or predicaments have we been in that sticks out in your memory, and why?
Flat tire on a Sunday morning in the RV outside of Topeka.
Was that Colorado trip that I was like, we got to get there, we got to get there?
That's that same trip that made you slow down.
It was Sunday morning.
7 a.m.
Flat tire with a 38-foot RV.
Yeah.
And
There's
so what did we do?
No spare.
We just sat there at the
rest area
for a few hours. Actually, not as long as what I feared.
Feared it was going to be. $900 later. We had a new tire.
That hurt.
Yeah. That was, the tire on there is the same size as a semi-tire.
It is. So we don't carry a spare. You don't have a jack big enough. And it's not AAA that comes.
No.
It's special RV roadside assistance.
Semi-repair.
And they came with a tire and repaired it right there.
On a Sunday. So bless them. That was great. Another one would be camping off the Blue Ridge Parkway in a remote area where we didn't have cell phone signal. Talking on the ham radio.
Yes.
And checked in with some friends of mine and said, if you don't hear from us by such and such time tomorrow morning, call somebody.
Well, it wasn't a sketch area, but I think I heard a bear.
Oh, we were in a tent on top of the Jeep, so we were like a soft taco.
But you know what was great about that? I mean, that was a beautiful area. And then we just drove a little ways, and we could have cell signal, and we had office.
That was nice.
Mm-hmm. And then we drive back and have no cell signal. But there have been a few times that we had seen, it's like ham radio comes in handy. If you don't hear from us the next day, send out.
Yeah, and we're talking 800 miles cross country, talking to somebody on the radio that we know. So,
well, one thing, there's a couple of events that stick out in my mind.
Which would be?
Chesapeake Bay Bridge.
Oh, my. Yeah, that was probably the all-time.
Okay, so here we are driving the 38-foot diesel pusher, the Jeep attached to the back.
We are 53 foot, and the bicycles were behind on
and
the
then
Jeep.
the bicycles.
So we were 53 foot
some odd
length.
And then the height of that big monster is
12'9".
So I told you that, hey, we should stop here because it's a landmark. And I went there a long time ago in my former life, and I thought it was a really cool thing. You've got to see this, and let's stop at the visitor center. Look, there's a sign that says buses welcome.
Tour buses are welcome.
We're welcome. Let's go.
We're the same size, we think.
Right. So we get there, and it's getting close. It was evening time.
It was dark out.
And it was getting close to there weren't that many people in the parking lot, I don't recall. But anyway, we went into the gift area and stuff like that. And so you would think that if buses are welcome, that you go in an area and then you keep going straight, and then it's like a rest area.
A pull through.
And then you exit. No. You had to turn around. You can't back up an RV with a tow vehicle.
No,
that's a no-no.
That's a no-no.
We did just a little bit, and then we drew a crowd. The security people came, and it was very stressful.
Was I getting frustrated?
Oh my goodness, I knew not to talk much. And what ended up happening was we unhooked the Jeep, and you were able to make a 50,000 point turn with the RV.
But we made it.
And then you drove the RV. I drove the Jeep until we got to the other side. We did damage the
tow bar.
The tow bar.
The front bumper of the Jeep did kiss the back bumper of the RV. Ever so slightly.
There's a little kiss mark. I knew just to be calm and patient and everything, but you were stressed, really stressed.
Yeah,
we got to the other side because, I mean, you're in the RV, so you think that you're going to be touching the tunnel.
The tunnel was 13 foot 6 inches tall. The RV was 12 foot 9, so there was 7-8 inches.
You feel like you're way up high when you're driving that thing. So got to the other side, you pulled over so that we could assess the damage, and we determined that we could tow the vehicle for a little ways.
Mm-hmm.
And then, so we started driving down wherever our destination was, and I was quiet for the longest time. Then I turned to you and I was like, boy, we were in a tight spot.
Yes, we were.
And you couldn't help but laugh. But that's...
Yeah, you made me smile at that.
In our relationship, I know when to be quiet.
You can read my face.
I can read your face and try to make some levity out of things.
Mm-hmm.
So that's the big adventure that sticks out. There's another. We've had several of them. Was it the same trip that we had the lye spill in the Dismal Swamp?
That's the Dismal Swamp lye spill.
Yeah. So I make homemade soap, and one of the ingredients is lye. In our RV, we have some wonderful storage way up high above the kitchen, and Robert went to get fuel and was pulling out of this
fuel station.
The fuel station, and then hit a little bump. I mean, it was just tiny.
Like 3 or 4 inch drop off.
And our RV went ka-chunk. And all the cabinets that normally stay closed because they're made special just flew open, and my soap stuff was everywhere. And lye burst open onto the floor.
On the carpet, broke, shattered.
That's okay if it's just Robert and I. But we have 3 little weenie dogs. And you know what weenie dogs like to do?
They're floor lickers.
And so I screeched and was like, no, dogs, no. So then I brought the dogs to the front and made sure that I protected them so they wouldn't lick anything. And then we got to this roadside park that was called the Dismal Swamp, and I thought, well, that's an appropriate place to clean things up. So we got the vacuum out. We cleaned. Probably the best we've ever cleaned that RV.
It was a thorough cleaning.
That pops out in my mind.
That was our turning point. Do we go north or do we go home?
And what did we do?
We went north.
We went ahead and went north. That was good. And then probably the most recent time, I'm just so proud of you, how you keep things calm, but I could kind of tell you were stressed.
Yeah.
We're up at the reservoir, Buckeye.
Oh, Buckeye Reservoir in Colorado.
So we got up there.
Utah into Colorado, just barely.
And apparently there are some roads that are closed that time of year because they're so gosh darn muddy.
Let's say that you're my navigator.
Well, let's say that Google is not the most reliable.
That's true.
So we're going down
But we still had paper map, too.
let's just say Google is not the most reliable.
That's true.
So we are going down this path to get to this place, and the roads were just muddy, caking on. And you were getting more and more stressed the further we were going.
Yes.
We were in the Jeep. You stopped at one point, and there's just this sagebrush type stuff. You were worried that it's like, hey, if I get stuck, there's nothing to winch onto.
Because we had a winch, and it's handy unless you got nothing to hook it to.
And there was nothing. So you got out at one point.
You walked down the trail.
And you walked in, and I was taking video, which is lost video, but
we don't have a clue where it went.
So I kind of got out and watched you walk down the trail a ways, and you turned around and came back and said, "Prepare to get dirty." Mm-hmm. And I was like, okay. So that was the point that you said, we're going to turn around and let's get our leveling blocks, because we didn't have max tracks. We don't have max tracks.
We still don't.
We need to.
Eventually.
Max tracks are things
traction aid.
Yeah. But we have leveling blocks that we used for that. So we're in the middle of nowhere on this mountain, all muddy. And I said, okay, before we do anything, I need to change clothes. So I changed clothes because I just knew I was going to get really muddy and I wanted to hose off whatever. I didn't want to use my good shoes and stuff. So you backed up with, just perfection. You got through that.
Perfection. You were guiding me.
Well, okay, you had a fantastic guider to get you out of there.
Yeah, that's right. That's what with your guidance, we made it.
With my guidance, we got into that predicament,
That's
and with my guidance, we got out. No, that I like that you don't freak out. And apparently you were stressed, but I just knew you were just going to take care of everything. It was just fine.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We made it.
Well, we've had some adventures, and I think that what's that we usually say? Poor choices make for good stories.
Yeah, usually do.
Yeah. Well, what's our future plans?
Oh, well, mine is to work fun.
What's...
My definition of working fun is, like I said, stuff that doesn't suck.
What does not suck for you? Because what does not suck for you might suck for somebody else.
Exactly.
What do you like doing right now?
Right now, I like leather work.
Man, you do a fantastic job.
Well, you're only saying that because you live with me.
No, I hear what other people say too.
Oh, okay.
So you're really into the fur trade era type of...
We'll just go with 1750 to 1840 era. Anywhere in between there.
And you're really into the Contemporary Long Rifle Association type artwork. Mm-hmm. And we go to rendezvous. We do
trade shows
and things like that. And the type of leather work that you do are hunting pouches primarily. And
yes.
Say that big word, accoutrements.
Accoutrements. Yeah. Accoutrements, however you want to say it.
Well,
I've heard it pronounced 20 different ways.
And my Midwest way is usually all messed up.
Accoutrements.
Yes, that's kind of how I say it. So it's a really cool living. I mean, that's part of the diversity that we have and how we earn a living to fill our life, to fuel our lifestyle.
Yep.
And you are a musician and you do that, but it's kind of nice that you don't have to depend on that 100%.
Yeah, it's a break in the monotony.
You're a very talented musician too, but you just don't. You did that full time in Florida.
Yep, Florida.
And you were burnt out. And when we first started traveling, you didn't even touch a guitar for
6 months. We went from Florida to Colorado, and I quit playing for 6 months. Then I said, I think I'm ready.
Burnout happens. So many people think that
That's why I have all these different hobbies. Yeah. Go from one to the other.
Well, so many people
think. But it's hobbies that pay, though. It's not. It's work, but it ain't work. And I don't want to get burned out on any of them, so I just kind of bounce around between them.
I don't think some people understand how hard of work being a musician is or an artist is. Well, we sold the Jeep.
Yes, we did.
It's been over a year
Year and a half-ish.
And what did we buy to replace that?
A 1994 Suburban 3/4-ton, 4-wheel drive, big, heavy, gas-guzzling.
We stripped out everything in the back.
Well, actually, it's not much worse mileage than a Jeep. You think about it. We got a lot more livable area inside.
And we are building out the inside of that Suburban for a bigger trip and trying our hand at
carpentry
and
floor
interior design.
Yeah, interior.
I make you slow down because I'm like, I don't want
interior illumination.
Yes.
All the stuff that it's as long as it's 12 volt, I'm good. I can deal with 12 volt.
Between the both of us, we're going to make the inside of that thing efficient and livable because I don't want it to feel
the outside's
dumpy.
Questionable.
Well, that's okay. Then people
but for a
would
94, it's not bad.
The pictures make it look really good.
Yeah, I don't understand it.
What are you doing there? Well, then we're preparing for bigger trips, longer trips, and right now in our business with Scrivener Solutions, things have evolved with the business model with that, but it doesn't happen overnight. So we have been working all along so that we can take bigger trips to be off-grid for longer. And it takes a bit of planning and a bit of work to get to the point that we can do that. So I'm excited. Our ultimate goal is Alaska, isn't it?
Yeah, within a couple of years.
We can do it. There's just challenges. And right now, for the last few years, we've slowed way down in our overlanding travel, primarily because of our dogs.
It's hard to take 3 dogs with you.
Especially in a Jeep.
Yeah, that's even in a Suburban, it's going to be tough.
It's going to be tough, but we're going to experiment. We're going to see what happens because, I think that we should try it and not have the woulda, shoulda, coulda attitude. And I think that's a lot of living full and working fun. It's not that you're never going to have challenges, but how can you make...
Staying at home, you got challenges.
Oh, heaven's sakes. Yeah.
So might as well enjoy the time off when you clock out.
But I think it's
someplace new, exciting.
I think it's fun to experiment.
You seem to work harder or quicker or more efficiently when you're in an area. Say, hey, I need to get this done so we can go play.
The biggest thing that for this year, I'm trying to figure out. See, I figured out for me when we're staying put for a period of time, my optimal production hours are early in the morning because I get up earlier than you.
Earlier.
I take care of the dogs. I do a lot of computer work. And so I've actually done a lot of work before we see each other in the morning.
Musicians don't get out of bed that early.
When we're camping...
I get up pretty decent.
You do, but this is the challenge. It's like, I don't want to get up because then I'll disturb the dogs or I'll disturb you. And so I need to stay quiet for the longest time. So that's my challenge is how can I be productive in my productive time before we get up because I know that once you get up, it's like we need to go.
Yeah.
We need to.
Yeah, when I get up, I'm ready to go, like move and see
explore.
a different something else.
It's time to explore. So,
but on this upcoming trip, I'll have work too, because I'll be taking other work with us.
Yes.
Not that it takes up a lot of space, but where we're going, we'll be setting up a table and
we'll be going to some trade shows. Yeah.
Yeah, so I'll be making stuff while we're on the road, so I'll have that, and then maybe a 1 or 2 o'clock in the afternoon take off.
So
or noon.
We'll need to experiment on that, but that's one of the things is the first, I think, week of travel is the most difficult to get into a new routine. And then after that, it gets easier and we get into a groove because we're going to be traveling in the fall. So
fallish, yeah.
Mm-hmm. Late summer, fallish. I like that.
Yeah. Sometime in August.
Right now, from now till till August, there's a lot of things with the company
It's
we're doing.
Cramming it in right now. Trying to get ahead of the game.
And thinking ahead of how the work schedule or what kind of work can I do
while traveling
that is not dependent on internet 24/7.
Yes.
Yeah, so there might be some times that we do need to go to the library or do need to be in blocks of times, but I see on our travel time that my Zoom calls are going to go way down. So that's something that I am.
And we'll have the dogs too.
And we will have the
dogs. So it's going to be challenging.
It will. We'll figure it out. Perhaps.
Not 1, not 2, but 3 dogs. That's the kicker. 1 or 2 is okay, but when you got 3 and one of them's handicapped or disabled, however you want to put it.
He's special needs.
He's special needs dog.
And we have another special needs one that's so anxiety ridden.
So 2/3 of them are pretty needy.
And then the other one is just hungry all the time.
Well, aren't you?
Yeah.
Yeah, I could always eat.
I can always eat too. Well, Robert.
Yes?
Thanks for making an appearance on the show.
Well, thanks for having me.
And you'll be back. You'll be editing, I know.
This
podcast. You are our sound engineer. Guys, thanks for being here with us today. And I hope you enjoyed our little bantering back and forth, that maybe you found it fun and maybe you found it, who knows, inspiring. I don't know. Robert and I truly have a lot of fun. Yeah,
yes,
we have some challenges, but I think, or I hear from other people that we're pretty even keel. And
we're made for each other.
Well, we better be, because we're in it for the long haul. So,
and you guys are so cute. I hear that a lot. My goodness.
Oh, my. Well, we believe you don't have to be stuck in a life or work that doesn't bring you joy. We believe that you truly can live a full life, whatever your definition of full means, that your work should not suck the life out of you, right?
That's right. Absolutely.
You can find fun work. You can create fun work.
If you're not happy with what you're doing, why are you doing it? There's got to be a point.
There's got to be a point. And that does not mean that there's not going to be some of those days that are challenging, but that's where we learn from. And ultimately, are you doing what you love to do? And there may be a time that you don't even know what you love to do. I've had that. And you explore.
Yep. Sit down and pros and cons.
So if you believe that you too can, live life full and work fun, I'd love for you to do me this little bitty favor. Please share this episode with at least one person who you think might find it helpful or enjoyable. Just text them the link. So let's continue this conversation, shall we? Hop over to Facebook and share your thoughts in the Live Full, Work Fun group. Whatever thoughts they may be. They may be just say, guys, you guys should never do a show together again. You guys just ramble on and on.
You're cut off.
You're cut off. Well, thanks again for listening. And until next time, have a fantastic week. Live full, work fun.